Go ahead, like, subscribe, share. All those things are greatly appreciated. Let's get into a few props I like for tonight. We're going to look at the NBA. First player we're going to look at is Terry Rozier. We're going to look at his made threes prop. 2.5 looks like on Parlay Play. Let's see what it's looking like. First, let's find Rozier. We'll go to the Charlotte versus New Orleans and Pelicans game. And we'll look for made threes. We look for Rozier. Rozier, we see a prop down here at 2.5. It said that this prop was available on Parlay Play, but I don't see it on Parlay Play. It looks like it's locked on Parlay Play right now, so I don't see it on Parlay Play right now. Let's look at Rozier a little closer. If it does pop back up on one of the Parlay sites, we'll definitely have to look at it. He's a pretty decent favorite at the books, minus 145. BetMGM, minus 40, minus 140 at DraftKings. Let's look at Rozier a little closer when it comes to made threes. We'll go over here to PROPS.CASH and choose the Charlotte versus New Orleans game. And we'll go to the 3-pointers made. We will look for Rozier. 2.5 is a prop, projection 2.86. Pelicans are pretty low when it comes to defending the point guard position. Let's look at his recent history. As you can see, he's went over 2.5, 46% of the time this season. 12 out of 26 games in his last 10, 60%, 6 out of 10. Red is good for the defense. Yellow is just neutral. Green is good for the offensive player. 3-point percentage. They're third in the league. 3-pointers. They give up, looks like 13.3 a game, which is just middle of the road. Rozier's been shooting hot lately. He's went over in 4 straight games. You got to remember, all streaks do come to an end, but we still may be good at 2.5 3-pointers made. These guys flip a lot of threes. Again, it was available on Parlay Play. I don't see it anymore, but if it comes back available on one of the Parlay sites, we'll definitely have to look at it. I like Rozier over 2.5 3-pointers made. Let's go over here and see if we can find anything else. Let's look at Spencer Dinwiddie. I've been following him pretty closely. I've been hitting his unders on assist pretty consistently over the last week or about 2 weeks since they went out overseas to play. They went over to Paris to play. They came back and played a home game a couple of nights ago. Now they're traveling all the way back across the country to Brooklyn. Probably want to look at the over-under on this game and probably Portland's outright money line may be a decent bet on this game because these boys have been traveling a lot and they've been playing a lot. So let's look at Spencer Dinwiddie rebounds. And we're looking at the over 3. Let's pull up the Brooklyn-Portland game. And we're going to look at player rebounds. And we're going to look at Spencer Dinwiddie. 2.5 is a prop. Huge favorite to go over 2.5. Minus 175, minus 166, minus 145 to go over. As you can see, the Parlay sites, of course, have pushed it up to 3. Jock, Parlay Play, Underdog, and Dabble. PrizePicks doesn't have it available. Over on Fifth's 2.5, minus 190. So they're saying he's at least gonna get 3. Let's look at again over here. It says we should take the over 3 rebounds. Let's look at him a little closer on props.cash. Let's look at his rebounding numbers. We'll pull up that game on props.cash, Brooklyn versus Portland. And we will look at the rebounds. And here you see a projection of 2.22. For the season, only 49% of the time, 18 out of 37. He's went over, let's push it down to 2.5. I'm sorry, 2.5. He's went over 70% of the time, 26 out of 37 games. Not so much in the last 10, though. The last 10, 60%, 6 out of 10 games. Last 5, 40%, 2 out of 5 games. Game against Cleveland was in Paris. He had 2. The game against Miami looks like he didn't have any. Now we're going across the country to Portland. It's a tough one. I think this one puts us in a tough spot if we're going by the season. What he's done throughout the season, we're going to take 2.5 pretty easy. But what he's done in the last 10, especially the last 5. Only 2 out of 5 games, 40%. Not really sure what's going on. I haven't watched 8 games. I'll probably have to do just a little bit more research on this one before I take it. But he does only have a projection in PROPS.CASH of 2.22. I do not like the over 3 on this one. I think we can probably even take a stab at the under 3 on this one. I probably wouldn't do it at the parlay sites. Probably wouldn't do it because he can easily get 3, 2.5. Just not feeling this suggestion of over 3 rebounds. Thinking about it more, I'm probably going to stay away, especially on the parlay sites. I'm going to stay away. He may only just get 3, which gives us a push. I also want to look at Spencer for another category, and that's going to be player assist. This is the prop that I've been killing Spencer on over the last few weeks, is the player assist. His prop is 5.5, and the parlay sites, of course, have pushed it down to 5. But let's look at him a little closer when it comes to assist. Assist, as you notice in the last 10 games, and we'll push it down to 5.5. Last 10 games, he's only went over 30% of the time, 3 out of 10 games. For the season, only 51% of the time, 19 out of 37. I still like Spencer under the 5.5. And even if we push it down to 5, I think we'll have to think about it. That's what the parlay sites have pushed it down to, is 5. We have to think about that. During the season, he's went over that 59% of the times, and last 10, 50% of the time. But just recently, he hasn't been hitting this prop at all. I don't think the matchup really matters when it comes to this prop, but this is probably a pick that I would probably make on the sportsbooks only, under 5.5. I can see Flip has it. That's the one I have available to me. But as you can see, BetMGM, Caesars, DraftKings, and FanDuel, pretty heavy favorite to go under 5.5. I would probably take that on the sports books. Let's see if we can find something out here. Let's check. That was Parlay Play. I didn't see anything for Underdog earlier that I wanted to look at when it comes to NBA. PrizePicks. Didn't see anything where the values may be off or the line may be off. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for inefficiencies in the line right now. Let's look at Betr. See if we see anything on Betr. Not seeing anything on Betr. Let's go to Dabble. And let's look for NBA on Dabble. We'll look at Bobby Porter's made threes versus Cleveland. Let's go look at Bobby Portis made threes. Under 1. Let's see what we can find. Let's pull up the Milwaukee game. Milwaukee versus Cleveland. And we look for player 3-pointers. Player made threes. And we're looking at Portis. As you can see, the line is 0.5 in a lot of, 1.5 in a lot of places. Pretty heavy favorite to go under 1.5. The only parlay site that's offering this is Dabble. They got it at 1. Jock has it at 1 too, and Flip has it at 1.5. You see, it's crazy favorite to go under 1.5, minus 270. Let's look and see what Bobby Portis has been doing lately when it comes to made threes. Let's pull up the Milwaukee versus Cleveland, and we look at 3-pointers made, and we'll look at Bobby Portis, and we'll see his projection is 1.41. And let's push it down to 1. Well, as you can see, in his last 3 games, he's had at least 2 3-pointers made. For the season, 12 out of 29 games, 41%, he's made at least 1 3-pointer. Playing a Cleveland defense who allows 11.9 3-pointers a game. Porters, let's see. He's averaging around 2.9 3-pointer attempts a game. He's shooting around 40%. Well, his hit rate is around 40% for the season, which shows everything we saw in the numbers. As you can see in these last few games, he shot 2, he shot 4, he shot 6, he shot 2, and I think he went over in all those games. So the last game he took 2, he made 2. He took 4 in the previous game against Golden State, made 2. He took 6 in the game versus Boston, made 5. So it's all about his attempts. Is he gonna sit out there in the corner and make these and shoot 3-pointers? And it's all about his attempts. I do not like the under 1 that we see over here on Dabble. I do not like the under 1. I don't like it. We may be looking at a push here. The same as on Jock. We may be looking at a push. We can probably find a lot better things out here to bet on. If this number was, this is under 1.5. That's minus 238. They're basically saying, hey, this dude is not going to make 2 for sure. He may make 1, but we're pretty confident that he's not going to go over 1.5. He's not going to make 2. Against Cleveland, again, really don't think the matchup is a huge difference. But I'll probably stay away from the Dabble pick of under 1 because he's pretty efficient from behind the 3-point line. If he puts up 3, he's going to make 1 or 2. So Bobby Portis, under 1 on Dabble, we're going to stay away from that. I have a good feeling that will probably be a push. So those are a few props we looked at. We can do this all day long, go through these lines and figure out inefficiencies and make an educated decision on picks. We can do it all day long if we have to. But if my content helps you, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe. All those things are greatly appreciated. You can get my premium plays over on Patreon and Telegram, and that's basically just following the picks that I make throughout the day. I post them over there. The tools that I use are OddsJam and PROPS.CASH. They really help me get to where I need to get. And I also use a couple other tools, but the main two tools I use is PROPS.CASH and OddsJam. See you on the next video.